Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Lianne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes, to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now, and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together. Hi, we are so excited to be here today with you. This is a dual purpose recording for the amazing Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, and right here, the Carol Register Show on YouTube. And I'm so excited today, even more, maybe. Well, I don't know. I'm always excited, so I don't want to say that. But listen, this is somebody who is so incredibly special to me. We have been podcast partners, co-hosts for the last 4 years, publishing weekly. We have known each other since 2019, right? So is it 7 years now? It's coming up on it in October. That's crazy. And
oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's so nice that you're my partner. I just want to tell you, Lianne is such an incredible high-level leader. She is trained at a very high level of leadership. She trains leaders, people who are making impact in the world in incredible ways. And she does this at an extraordinarily high level. She is also a neurocoach, just like I am. We were certified together, and she is continually coaching clients in a lack of burnout, productivity, and leadership. And she uses an acronym called BOLD, B-O-L-D. She is a bold leader, and she lives that life, moving from recently Canada to Puerto Rico. To Panama. Panama, 5 hours outside of Panama City, right? So that your two little ones could have a different life experience and see the world through a different lens, which I absolutely love. You also work with your husband. Alex works with her husband with designing websites, landing pages, and you have a full plate because we haven't even gotten to the fact that you are launching the most incredible children's book, Free to Be Me. And I'd love for you to dive in and tell us about it. We're a little delayed.
Well, I think the title itself really does speak for the book, right? Free to be yourself. So Carol and I both know, with the amount of high performers and achievers that we've worked with, there's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot that we often end up putting ourselves against because of our thoughts, our beliefs, our identity, right? That comes from generation. That is how we were brought up, the things that we heard, the environments we were surrounded by. And after experiencing a full burnout in myself at what I thought was the peak of my career, and really diving into fix myself, understanding the brain, studying human behavior, things really shifted for me once I gave birth to my girls. Yeah. Because then I became super aware of everything they were listening, all the environments they were surrounded by. And the thing is, it happens so subconscious, right? Like, our brain is always looking for patterns to reduce the amount of energy it needs to perform. And so our brains are constantly scanning, building patterns to sort of save that time and energy. So I then became really hyper aware of, like, okay, what are the patterns that they're experiencing? What is being repeated? Yeah. And part of what this started was with me just being aware of children's literature, listening to nursery rhymes, some of the children, TV shows that are out there. And I realized so subconsciously
Yeah.
how much of the programming is subtly integrated
Wow.
based on society, based on experiences, based on
Sure.
expectation. And
Yeah.
so after, I guess it was almost 2 years of rewriting a lot of young literature from my eldest, sorry, then when Dane was nursing Amelia, my youngest, the idea of me just writing my own book came to me.
Yeah.
So instead of always rewriting, I could write my own book that really instilled in the confidence, the self-belief, the identity, even the social emotional regulation, having burnt out and being aware of how important that is,
Yeah.
into a book that I could read to my children over and over again.
Mm.
However, the feedback I got was, you can't just make this book for your kids, right? There are so many other children out there that could really benefit from this book. And then, given that I have a former background in education, it then stemmed from there that it's not just a book. There are resources, there are parental resources, classroom resources. I also used to be the director of our libraries and innovation. And so my brain just started to unravel all the ways that we can integrate this into our homes, into our environments, into our schools, to really take a stand for how our next generation of children are raised in their confidence, in their inner self talk and dialogue, so that they can grow up to be extremely confident and courageous and connected and loving and joyful. And when they experience adversity, they have the self talk, they have the inner dialogue that becomes automatic to support them working through difficult experiences that they might face, or not might face. I mean, they will face, right?
Real
Like, we are
face.
always facing hard things, right? And so
Yeah.
it's about how do we navigate those? Are we facing them full on, like me surfing yesterday with this wave coming at me, or
Yeah.
are we playing small and hiding away? And that is, that's what I'm so aware of, is like, how do I want to raise my kids? And how are the children, even that they're surrounded by, how are they talking to each other? What is the conversation going on with them? Because they also are, there's that peer influence. So being aware of that, I really wanted to create something that could really have such a positive impact in our children, and also in families, right? With the
Yeah.
dialogue and the conversations that they have.
It's been so incredible watching you go through this process of creating this book and, really seeing what we can start to do at the earliest ages. For those of you who may not be aware, they say that up to 90% of our limiting beliefs are wired in before the age of 8. And then we go about our lives making over 90% of our decisions based on what is wired into our subconscious. Our subconscious is not a decision maker, it's a rule follower. And so, whatever is wired in there is what we're following. And you are being so proactive with your children right now. And you have been with your wealth identity doing this at such an incredible level with crowdsourcing, with sponsorships, partnering with an incredible artist to create portraits in the book. And if I don't know that you have any sponsorship spots available or what you're doing in that way, but I would love for you to speak into that because, I'm going to have portraits of my grandchildren as a part of this. And how fantastic is that? It's going to be a lifelong legacy with something that's so memorable and incredible. And I really love the way you took this beyond what would be just an affirmation book for children and created something so unique and special. Will you talk to us about the sponsorships going on and weave in how your wealth identity has affected this?
Yes, Carol knows that she has received many of WhatsApp voice messages from me, because something we talk about, in the neuro coaching space is, new level, new devil, right? And so what does that mean? It means that, you will you will rise to that sort of level that you've got the programming and the belief, and then it's about busting through the not the grass, the glass
Glass
ceiling.
ceiling.
where where I really challenged and took myself on was really busting through that, and one, being able to generate a certain amount of a sum of money in a faster time that frame that I had ever done before.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we're only just getting started.
Yeah.
And I can feel it. It's funny, I say that and I can feel it because I just submitted a grant last week and I have the final number on the page of what it takes to invest in a book like this.
Yeah.
And so I get to reinvent myself. I get to think, I get to believe, I get to operate from a space that I have never been up until this point. And so because our brains only know familiarity, I'm really leaning into the work that Carol and I have done, especially with the wealth identity, with being able to the rehearsal piece of showing my brain of what is possible and
Yeah.
really dive deep and really doing the work and really working through the process of looking at the evidence and also really working through the belief system and operating from that space, which we can, like, I can feel it because I'm going somewhere that I haven't yet been yet. But the nice thing is I've got the tools. I have Carol also by my side who's really been supporting me and reminding me, because it's not complicated. It's actually a very simple process,
Yeah.
but our brains like safety and familiarity. And
Yeah.
so really leaning into and grounding into like my daily practices have been so important. And the way that I'm talking to myself and the way I choose to show up is supporting me and stretching me, because as I said to my coach last week, I'm in the middle. There's no turning back now. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, mass, which is also something that one of my leadership mentors just kept saying, was like, just give me more. Because I mean, I think the one big thing is it doesn't hurt to ask. Right? It doesn't hurt to ask. And even as I say that, like, it's funny how our brain processes, and there's the whole internal dialogue. And I just get to invite myself to stretch myself and to lean in and ground myself. Grounding in my new identity has been the biggest thing to support me in really leveling up in this process and really being intentional with that time and what I'm declaring and what I'm creating. And I'm not someone that usually play things small. And so it's like, if I'm going to do this, one, I want to do it well. And I want to be able to experience all the things that come with this process. And so the sponsorship part is really actually only just begun. The first piece to creating a children's book obviously is writing the transcript. I've been working with my editor right now to really get to that next level so it can be award winning. And then of course there's the illustrations piece. And so Nadia and I have formed a beautiful partnership, something that we never thought would unravel when we first thought of this idea of having the inner child be painted. I think it's like 90% of the children in the book are actually grandchildren. And so we now saw an opportunity to continue the partnership. So if you would like your grandchild or your child or your inner child to have a painting,
Niece, nephew. Yeah.
there's still opportunities to get portraits and paintings done through Nadia. And then a percentage of those paintings are going to go to continue the next steps of funding the book, because the creation of the book is one thing, and then you have the publication of it. There is the marketing piece of it, right? And so it is quite fascinating when you put all those line items onto the spreadsheet to really realize, okay, the amount of things that are involved with publishing a children's illustrated book from ages 4 to 8, because there's an art to it, right? There's a dance to it. There's not one component. There are multiple components. And so that is where we're at with the final stage. As we speak, we have one page left in the book. So your child, grandchild, inner child would appear in in one of the last pages that we're sponsoring, auctioning off. And then there's opportunities to have these beautiful paintings of children in your life, so that they have a version of their free to be themselves hanging up on walls. And I can tell you, when I showed my daughter hers, oh my goodness, she was so excited. And this was just the printed version. This wasn't even the original. But when I saw her light up to see herself,
5 years old, right?
and in her free to be moment, because, every donors also were in connection of like what's the scene in the book, what's the moment that's really gonna empower them to meet to embody that free to be space. And so her free to be moment is her on this tree swing at her school here in Panama, and she just feels fearless, right? She feels fearless, she feels free. There's such a freedom just swinging on that swing. And so your the child in your life can still get their free to be me portrait. And there are multiple opportunities to also support with additional ways of sponsorship. So we are just getting started. I am so excited because I don't even remember if I shared this with you, Carol, that this book, and I've received this feedback multiple times, is a movement. And movements don't just happen once. They are something that continue. So when we have clarity on the exact launch date, which will be the intention is this fall 2026. We are going to be starting the movement, which is the Free to Be Me Day. And this is going to be a day that is going to continue to show up every year to have the Free to Be Me Day, because we get to be free to be ourselves every day. But if we can just start one day, that one movement piece and the collaboration and connection that can be created, there's these days that we had that permission, especially if it's not wired in. At least that'll be that one day where you have the permission to really, truly feel free to be yourself and be invited to really look at what that even looks like for you.
That's so powerful. And, this has been amazing. I know we'll be talking about this a lot more, but as we wrap up here, what's one tip you would leave us about how to deal with uncertainty or pressure when we're going through these processes, and let us know where we can get a hold of you?
So my mantra, Carol knows this because this is what I lean into to move here to Panama, this whole process. It is done. It's already done. And I think
absolutely
something Carol says, it's on its way, right? And so keep your eyes forward.
It's not on its way, because what happens then is the brain accepts that and it's perpetually on its way instead of received, and that it is done. Like, I just want to highlight that. That is when you're in that moment of doubt, exactly what you're sharing. This tip is so powerful. I was doing this morning. I was saying, it is done. It is done. It is done. So I love that, Alex. And when I didn't mean to pause you, but I wanted to just make sure that we're being clear, because our systems, our mind, body, spirits are so sophisticated in what we absorb, right?
Well, and see, so like, notice how that was like the automatic thought of like my brain saying, yeah, it's on its way. And it's so funny how when we're on the other side of it, we can catch that, right? And this just goes to show the subtleties, I don't know if that's a word, I'm making it up, how subtle the inner dialogue plays, right? So it is done. And it's really about grounding yourself in the vision. What are you up to creating? Keep your eye on the prize. It is a process. So trust and surrender to the process, because it is already done. And the big reminder I receive with the it is done piece is when we are up against the adversity, when we feel the inner anxiety, when we have this uncertainty rise, if it is already done, everything we're up against along the way was meant to happen. There's a lesson here. And I just know for me, I just can let go of the reins, because a lot of times we just want to hold on so much to the control. And our move to Panama was a really good testament to me really leaning into it is done and trust and surrender. And anytime something came up, it was like, it's already done. So what step am I in right now? And what do I get to do? Who do I get to be to move through this? Because it's already done. And just that vision, I mean, the visualization piece, the work like that is just so important, having that, the vision primes that we teach with our clients, because it's that grounding piece. I think what I want everyone to walk with, especially having done all the work the work I do with the burnout pieces, that gets you in this go, 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 go. And when we find there, it's so easy to get disconnected to what we're even up to.
Right.
So if you're not prioritizing that, the slow down and speed up piece, to give yourself, even if it's 5 minutes a day, to just ground yourself into what is the vision? What am I going after? Who do I get to be to create that? And just breathe into trusting and surrendering.
Wow.
And I do this and I say that because if there's somebody that does this, it's me. And it's just trust and surrender and just breathe in, regulate the nervous system, right? Because the body is gonna feel it oftentimes before the brain. And so it's just to really acknowledge yourself. But
Yeah.
it is done. It is done.
Oh, so good. So good. Where can we get a hold of you?
I'm most active right now on Instagram, actually. So alex.lianne.carter. I am sharing the whole process, whole journey of this book. And yeah, so that is definitely the best place to see to connect me on socials. Or if you are an email person, because I know some people are, is free to be me or hello at freetobemekids.com. So hello at freetobemekids.com is the email.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for being here for the Carol Register Show. And I know we've got so much more coming with Unleashed and Unstoppable. We've been doing this for 4 years together, weekly, over 200 episodes on the neuroscience of leadership, health, and wealth. And we are leaning in right now to really speaking to parents. Alex being a parent and me being a grandparent, this is something that we're excited to bring this component to the show because so many of us have young children and this is our future. And this is what we are bringing all of our love and shining light to. Thank you, Alex, again for being here. Can't wait to talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Lianne Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.